In this video, I'm going to show you the use of Dreamweaver site definition files. The file extension on them is a .ste, so sometimes I refer to them as an STE file, and most often I just refer to them as a shortcut file because they are the shortcut for setting up your site in Dreamweaver. We've looked at how to set up a site, but sometimes it can be useful to have a site definition file or a shortcut file to use. For the class, the primary way we use them is if you are coming to the classroom and you're utilizing our workstations to work on, then every time you come into the classroom, you need to set your site up again. And that's just because of how the labs are set up. When the computer restarts, it resets back to an original state, and it no longer knows about your site. So you have to set one up. So you can go through the full process of setting your site up, creating a site, or you can just use the site definition file to do that. So let me show you those real quick. I'm here in Dreamweaver. I am in a site right now. I'm in a basic web design site right there. And first, let's go create a site definition file. Okay. So to do that, I just need to go to Site and say Manage Sites. You locate your site. I have a whole list of sites here, but here's one right here. Here's a basic web design from fall 2020. So let's create a shortcut file for that. So with that one selected, I come find these icons down here at the bottom. Go to the rightmost one there, the folder with the arrow, and click on it. And you see this is for exporting the site. And I want to leave it on the first one right here, back up my settings. Okay, so do that, say OK. And then it gives me an export site window, and I can go select the location for it. Let's see, in this case, it's dropped me, this is just work. These are files for class. I'm going to go to the desktop, and that's where my root folder is, but I don't want it in my root folder because I don't want to upload it to the site. So I'm just going to put it loose on the desktop. So I click on desktop and click save, and it has saved it there. And now I'm done. It's confused about something. We'll figure that in a minute. Okay, so here is the site definition file, or the shortcut file. You see it ends in .ste. Okay, so that is the one that sets my site up every time. Now that we have it created, let me show you how we'll use it. So my site is set up right now. I don't need it at the moment. But let's say that I'm working on a workstation on campus. I've been working in my root folder. Here's my root folder here. These have my files saved in there. There is my shortcut file. And it's time for me to go home. So I can, in Dreamweaver, first of all, let's make sure I don't have any pages open. I don't. Everything's closed. So I'm going to hide that away. Now, I need to save these, okay? So your root folder has all of your work, so you always have to save all of that. Your shortcut file sets things up for you, so you definitely want to hang on to that. So there are multiple ways you can hang on to these. One is you could have a USB or a flash drive that you plug into the computer. You copy these off and then take that with you. The thing that I've been seeing students do more and more of is using one of the online drive services, whether it be Dropbox or Google Drive or one of those. And that way, by putting them up there, it's up in the internet. You don't have to worry about leaving your flash drive behind in class or leaving it behind at home, either one. You can always just go pull it off of the internet that way. So let's go to a browser, and I brought Dropbox up because I use Dropbox. And so let's say that Dropbox is how I'm going to keep these. So my local root folder, remember, is full of folders, and so this one is best if I compress it. So on the Mac, I can just do a right click on it, or that's the same as a control click, and then I can come down and say compress. And there you go. It created a zip file for me. So this thing I would now be able to throw away. I'm going to put it down there out of the way. Okay, now I have a zip file, which has all of my folders compressed, and I have my shortcut file. Here is Dropbox. I've created a basic web design folder here, and so I am going to just grab this file, drop it up here. I am uploading. Okay, I just had to refresh. There, it's uploaded now. And now I'm going to grab my zip file and throw it up here. And it has uploaded it. There we go. That time it refreshed. Okay, so there are my files. All set. They're saved away in Dropbox. Everything's great. So at this point, I would grab these two, and I would, if I'm on the workstation at school, I would throw them away, empty my trash, leave. Maybe even restart the computer. Maybe I load those up on my computer at home and I do some work. If I do, I've got to make sure that I put a fresh copy up in Dropbox before I come back to school. So now let's say I'm returning to school. Okay, I am now, in fact, I'm going to throw that root folder in the trash can. Okay, I've arrived in the classroom, started the computer up, and here we are. I need to get my work. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to log into Dropbox, and I need to pull these out of here. And so I can come select these guys, come over here and say, oh, you don't want to, oh, there we go, download right there. I say download, save. Okay. Now, because I picked two things at once, it threw them together into a zip file. So you might want to do them independently. I'm going to double click, and in my downloads folder, that's what I'm looking for. So there's my shortcut file. I'm going to drag it to my desktop. Here is my local root folder. I can drag it or I can leave it here. Either way, I'm going to double click, and there's my root folder, and I'm going to drag my root folder out here. Okay, so the rest of this stuff, I don't need this anymore, that or that. I can throw those guys away. There we go. And what I want to end up with is my shortcut file and my root folder here. Your root folder can't be, it has to always be sitting in the same spot. Okay, so if you always work with it on the desktop, it has to be sitting on the desktop. That's why I didn't throw that basic website folder out here with the root folder in it, because that would just confuse matters. Okay, so this has to be directly on the desktop if that's where I always work with it. I can open it. I can see, there we go. There's my folder. I'm going to go ahead and hide my browser. Okay, there are my files. So once I have these on my computer, I would go launch Dreamweaver. Okay, so get Dreamweaver launched. In this case, I already have it running. I didn't quit, so I'm going to leave it. Okay. Once I have Dreamweaver running, I'm going to come over here, double click my shortcut file, and that will set the site up. Now in this case, I got a message, a site or connection named Basic Web Design 5 Fall 2020 already exists. And so it's going to create it, and it's going to put a 2 at the end of it. And that it's doing that because my site already exists here. If the computer had been restarted, there would be no sites, and it would just create it. You would not get this message. If you get this message, it's okay. I can go ahead and say okay. What you'll see is that, where is it in the list? I don't see it. But anyway, there's got to be 2 copies of it. Here it is, it's down here. So this copy and this copy are identical. Okay, as long as I pick one of those and I say done, then I'm now in my site. You can see right up here is the name of my site. There are my files based on actually linking to the files on my desktop. So that's how the shortcut file works. I would do class, I would do my work, and then before I leave, I would compress it, compress my local root folder. I would come back out here. Now, my shortcut file is here, nothing has changed, so I could leave the shortcut file. I would probably come here to the local root folder and delete it. So I've removed that one, and then having just compressed my root folder on the desktop, which has all the changes that I made in class, I would copy that up here. And then I could throw them away and leave for the day. Okay, so that's how those files work. We can review that again if we need to, or you can always watch the video again. So I hope that's clear.